how does smoking affect college students' health while in college? And how does smoking affect a person beyond college, from what research you've seen previously?
Smoking cigarettes?
Yes, specifically.
Well, I think the evidence is pretty clear that no good can come of smoking cigarettes. We've seen a dramatic decline in smoking rates across the several last decades. And this year we're at an all-time low. About 8% of our undergrads smoke cigarettes on a regular basis. So that's great. We're making great progress for tobacco use. I mean, short-term effects, we all know the dangers of tobacco use and lung damage, long-term effects from, emphysema and chronic bronchitis and lung cancer and all the other effects. So the evidence is pretty clear on short and long-term effects. In addition to, it's expensive. Smoking is expensive, and I know a lot of college students who don't have a lot of extra cash to throw around.
Just moving on from that, we're talking about smoking and the effects that can have on students' health. What is something that you think the school should do to lower stress? Or would you say that there are a lot of resources at the school to help you distress?
I think there are a lot of resources. I think stress is a normal part of a healthy life. There's good stress and there's bad stress. When it gets bad is if it's overwhelming, if it's interfering with daily functioning. So, I don't anticipate a world without any stress. Because it's a normal part of life. But I do think there's a lot of resources that I hope students are able to take advantage of.
What do you see as a major challenge in the coming years?
Marijuana? Yeah, definitely.
Should elaborate on that's a very complex issue. Maybe elaborate on that a little bit?
It is,
It's controversial, too.
It is complex.
Yeah.
There's this... students think that everyone's using marijuana regularly, and when we talk to students, I'll ask, what percentage of your peers do you think use marijuana? And there's always these social norms and overestimation where everyone thinks everyone's doing more than they are. Everyone thinks everyone's drinking more than they really are, having more sex than they really are. With marijuana, it's the same way. We know that for regular 10 or more days a month use, about 18% of our students are regularly using marijuana. When we ask about casual use, it's higher, but still it's less than half of our students use marijuana, like in the last month. But when you ask anyone, they'll say 90%, 100%. They think everyone is smoking pot all the time. So I think one of our challenges is reminding people of the actual, not everyone is actually doing it. Even though marijuana has been, in the state of Connecticut, decriminalized, that doesn't mean that it's legal. There are still penalties associated with it. Medical marijuana does not equal recreational marijuana yet in our state. And I think there's just, it's gonna be a big thing, and who knows what will happen in the state with, there could possibly be legalization for recreational purposes. Many of the states have done that. But until that happens, it is still against federal law to use marijuana.
Yeah.
And so even if Connecticut were to legalize it recreationally, as long as the federal government continues to categorize it as a Schedule I controlled substance, we're relying on federal funding. So if we're in violation of federal law by permitting students to use it, that could affect our federal funding, like Pell Grants and other things.
Definitely.
So it's sort of
it's a tricky law-related subject.
It's tricky law-related. I mean, there's a lot of the perception of harm. As more people are using marijuana, the perception of harm is going down a lot. But we also, we do outreach about marijuana, and it isn't without harm.
We talked a little bit about condom use. You brought up condom dispensers and sexual health services here.
Mm-hmm.
So you said there are condom dispensers in each one of the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a number of programs. I know, what was it, the Be Safe and Chill program?
Yep.
Was about STDs and safer sex practices.
Yep.
Are there anything else on campus that is in practice to promote safer sex?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about safer sex. If people choose, to be sexually active, how they can protect themselves and their partners. So we do a lot of classroom presentations on sexual health and STDs. We do programs in the residence halls that are more interactive around sexual health. We have our monthly free testing days called Get Yourself Tested, or GYT, and those every month, it's the first Wednesday of the month, and it's a time when you can just walk into the health center, get free and confidential STD testing. The health center always has that service available, but otherwise you just need to make an appointment. So we do a lot of work to let people know about that service.
Shutting it down, but I just want to say thank you so much for interviewing.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the time, and look forward to seeing
I'll make
what
a
other
major
information we find out. Yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you.